My son presented me with a brand new smartphone on my 70th birthday, telling me it was to keep me safe and connected. I smiled, hugged him tight, and felt that wonderful warm rush of family love after all those lonely years. But when I showed it to my granddaughter, a WizKid IT student, her eyes went wide with terror. "Grandma," she whispered, "this isn't a gift. It's a trap. Someone's been watching all your moves, listening to all your conversations." 11 days later, I discovered his chilling scheme to take away my home, my savings, and my dignity. What I did next? I turned the tables on him in a revenge so cold and calculated. He was begging for mercy, and I was finally free.
So if you've ever felt the bitter taste of betrayal from the people who are supposed to have your back, and you've ever fantasized about that ultimate karma-filled revenge that puts you back in the driver's seat, then smash that like button right now if you're ready to get all the feels with this revenge story. Subscribe. Hello friends, and welcome back to Quite Justice, where we explore the true stories of betrayal that turn into triumphs of justice. Today's tale is inspired by those painful Reddit posts about family greed. But we've spun it into a new story that will keep you on the edge of your seat. Names and events have been changed for privacy, but the feelings, the pain of trust broken and the high of revenge, is all too real. Any similarities are purely coincidental. Let's put ourselves in the shoes of Eleanor, a 70-year-old widow living in a quaint suburb of Vancouver, Canada.
Eleanor awoke to a chilly November day, the kind where the Pacific Northwest fog hugged the evergreens outside her window like a warm blanket. Her small two-story home in Surrey had been her haven for 45 years. Walls lined with memories of laughter, holidays, and the life she built with her late husband, Tom. Tom had been gone 5 years, suddenly taken by a heart attack, leaving Eleanor to live out her life alone as a widow. She'd spent decades as an elementary school teacher, imparting stories of history and goodness to young minds. Now retired, her days were filled with gardening, book club, and the occasional visit from her only son, Marcus, and his family. But on this birthday, the house seemed emptier than usual. Eleanor made her way to the kitchen in her worn floral robe, the one Tom had given her on their 30th anniversary. The aroma of freshly brewed coffee, automatically set to brew at 7 a.m., filled the room, a small comfort that anchored her. Her phone beeped on the counter. A simple text message from Marcus. "Happy birthday, Mom. Coming over with a surprise." Her spirits lifted. Marcus, 42, was a mid-level accountant in the city, married to Lila, a fiery real estate agent, with 2 kids Eleanor loved. But lately, their visits had been infrequent, their talks brief. She'd written it off to their busy schedules. Just about noon, the doorbell rang. Marcus stood in the doorway, his broad shoulders and height reminiscent of his father's, a gift box with silver paper wrapped around it. Lila was behind him, her nails drumming on her phone, a fake smile plastered on her face. The grandkids, 10-year-old Mia and 8-year-old Jake, came bounding into the room with hugs. "Happy birthday, Grandma," Mia exclaimed, handing her a card she'd made herself, colored with crayons. "A family under a rainbow." Eleanor's eyes welled up with tears. It brought back memories of Marcus's childhood artwork. "Open it, Mom," Marcus encouraged, his voice full of enthusiasm but with a sharpness Eleanor couldn't quite define. She ripped the paper away to find a state-of-the-art smartphone, complete with a sealed box. "It has all the bells and whistles, GPS for safety, health monitoring to track your steps, even video chats so we can talk more." Lila piped up, her voice dripping with honey. "We know you've been having a hard time with that clunky flip phone, Eleanor. This will make life so much easier." Eleanor took the box, feeling a rush of appreciation mixed with trepidation. It had to have cost over $1,000, way out of Marcus's usual price range. "This is too much, son. But thank you. It means the world." They lingered over cake, store-bought vanilla, not homemade chocolate like Tom used to make. They chatted easily, but Eleanor noticed Lila's eyes roving around the house, resting on the antique furniture, the backyard that could be developed. "This house is doing all right," Lila said nonchalantly. "Have you ever thought about moving to a smaller place? The market is ripe for the picking right now." Marcus gave her a warning look, but Eleanor dismissed it. "Oh no. This house is full of memories. I couldn't possibly leave." As they drove away, Marcus hugged her tightly. "Use that phone, Mom. It'll keep you connected." Eleanor waved from the porch, watching the SUV shrink into the distance, a warm feeling in her chest. Little did she know that connection was a chain meant to bind her. The following days, Eleanor struggled with the phone. She was able to get it working, adding contacts and installing a few apps for recipes and news. The display was crystal clear, ideal for her bifocals. However, she couldn't shake the feeling that something was amiss. The battery life was shorter than she'd anticipated, and apps were opening on their own. She wrote it off as her own ineptness. "I'm just old," she told herself, laughing. But a small voice inside her began to whisper, like the first whispers of an impending storm. A week later, Eleanor went to visit her granddaughter, Sophia, Marcus's daughter from a previous marriage. Sophia, 22, lived in a small apartment near the University of British Columbia, pursuing a degree in computer science. "Help an old lady out?" Eleanor asked, handing over the phone. Sophia, with her tattoos and blue-dyed hair, smiled. "Of course, Graham. Let's see what this bad boy can do." She explored the phone for a few minutes, her fingers flying across the screen. Then her face went white, her eyebrows furrowed. The sound of the fridge humming in the background seemed to grow louder in the silence. "Graham," Sophia said hesitantly, her voice shaking, "this phone, it's not normal. There's spyware installed deep in the system. Someone's been tracking your location, reading your texts, even accessing the camera and mic remotely." Eleanor felt her world spin around her, a cold sweat breaking out on her forehead. "What? That can't be. Marcus gave it to me sealed." Sophia shook her head, showing her the evidence on the screen. "It was compromised before you even got it. See, the installation date is days before your birthday. This is pro-level stuff like what hackers use for stalking." Eleanor's mind was racing, her heart beating like a drum in her chest. Memories came flooding back. Marcus's adamant demand for the gift, Lila's inquisitive gaze. Why would he? Sophia hugged her. "We have to call the police, Graham. This is serious." They did. Detective Ramirez from the Vancouver Police Department's Cybercrimes Unit showed up that afternoon. A no-nonsense woman in her 50s with keen eyes and a clipboard. She studied the phone, nodding seriously. "Your granddaughter is right on target. This is surveillance malware. The person who did this wants to watch your life unfold. Finances, routines, everything." Eleanor's world was reeling. "My son? Why?" Ramirez leaned in close. "It's often about money. Do you have assets? Inheritance?" Eleanor nodded dully. Her house was worth $1.5 million, savings from teaching and Tom's life insurance policy another $500,000, plus a pension. "And the beneficiaries?" "Divided equally between Marcus and Sophia." "We'll look into it quietly," Ramirez said. "Just go about your business. Don't say anything to him yet." Eleanor drove home, her hands clenched on the steering wheel so tightly her knuckles turned white. The house, once a sanctuary, now felt like a prison cell. That night she lay awake, watching the slow turn of the ceiling fan above her bed, tears streaming silently down her face. How could my boy do this to me? The one I raised with bandaged knees and cheers at soccer games? The one I loved? The pain of betrayal gnawed at her very soul, a hollow ache. The investigation continued the next week. Ramirez discovered Marcus's financial troubles. Huge debts from Lila's doomed real estate investments. $300,000 in loans, maxed out credit cards. Lila had a reputation for dodgy business practices, strong-arming clients into poor investments. But worse, emails revealed Marcus and Lila talking about Mom's situation. One read, "She's getting forgetful. Time to intervene for her own good. Boy first, then guardianship. House sells easily, pay off all debts." Fake documents appeared. A forged will naming Marcus as sole beneficiary, signed with Eleanor's name but not her handwriting. Eleanor's anger turned to outrage. "They think of me as an ATM, not a mother." Memory flashed back 30 years, in their old backyard, young Marcus holding her leg after a nightmare. "Mommy, you'll always protect me, right?" She'd knelt, hugging him tight. "Always, my love." Now that love was turned against her. Sophia helped Eleanor work through her feelings. "We'll fight back, Graham. Smarts, not tantrums." Eleanor and Sophia met with Ramirez, who suggested a sting operation. Use the phone to plant misleading information and provoke them into making a move. Eleanor agreed, steeling herself. If they want a confused old lady, I'll give them one. Then I'll destroy them. Eleanor started the charade. On the tapped phone, she accidentally muttered about forgetting bills and losing keys. Maybe I need help with things, she said aloud, shaking with mock fear. Marcus called the next day, dripping with honeyed concern. Mom, you sound strange. Lila and I were thinking you come live with us? We'll take care of your paperwork. Eleanor's hands clenched into fists under the table, but she played along. Oh, that might be nice. I'm so disorganized lately. But inside, a fire of fury burned. The tension escalated as Marcus made more visits, bringing forms for power of attorney. Lila came with him, her eyes shining like a hunter spotting prey. Sign here, Eleanor. It's for your protection. Eleanor dragged her feet, forgetting her glasses, spilling tea on the documents. Each delay frustrated them. Marcus's jaw clenched, Lila's smiles faltered. Eleanor relished it, her heart pounding. She remembered teaching Marcus to ride a bike, his joyful smile. Now that innocence was gone, the turning point came when Eleanor discovered hidden files in her attic, planted by her, but found on the phone's camera. She whispered, "These old bank statements. I don't remember these withdrawals." Marcus panicked and showed up unannounced. "Mom, let me help with that." He rummaged through drawers while Eleanor watched. Sophia, hidden nearby, recorded everything. Ramirez's team uncovered even more. Lila emailing a shady lawyer about declaring Eleanor incompetent, using spyware logs as proof. Eleanor's breaking point came at a family dinner. Lila muttered to Marcus, "The old fool's taking too long. Just get the PO, then we commit her and sell." Eleanor overheard every word. Tears welled, not from fear but from rage. That night, with Sophia and Ramirez, she planned the final move. "Make it hurt," Eleanor said calmly. The endgame began when Eleanor called Marcus. "I'm ready to sign. Come tomorrow, let's make it official." He could barely hide his excitement. She prepared everything, hidden cameras, fake documents, police on standby. The next day, nerves buzzing, she set the table with tea and cookies. Marcus arrived with Lila and their lawyer. They sat in the living room as sunlight filtered through lace curtains Tom had once hung. Papers were laid out. "Just sign, Mrs. Thompson. For your own good." Eleanor's hand hovered over the pen. Then she accidentally knocked over the tea, revealing printed emails. "What's this?" she asked softly. Marcus went pale. Lila froze.